Well, I think if we take the year in sequence, the first achievement undoubtedly has been the success of the operation in Côte d'Ivoire, in actually making it so that the result of the presidential election in November 2010, which had been trampled by politicians, has in fact been transcribed into fact, and that after several months of a very, very difficult situation, the rule of law and the principles of democracy were actually eventually fully implemented. And I take even more heart from the events of the last week, where we saw the legislative elections in Côte d'Ivoire, which confirmed that, yes, Côte d'Ivoire is back on the road to democracy, and those elections went well, without almost any violence, and I think this is a very positive achievement. Other challenges this year had to do with other election rendezvous, some went rather well. I'm thinking, for instance, of Liberia a month and a half ago. Some are more complicated, although it's too early to pass a final judgment. I'm thinking of Democratic Congo in the last 10 days. But I mean, these are important events, and it is fitting that the United Nations should play all the role they have to play in various capacities, either as a provider of advice, a provider of logistics, provider, in the case of Côte d'Ivoire, of certification of the process, and working along with other actors of the international community, observers, and so on, but actually contributing to the implementation of democratic principles in those countries. Another issue I see as a good challenge, but a challenge which was well taken into account, was the Sudan, the birth of the 193rd state in the world, which is being accompanied by a new mission, and that is no small achievement in a country which has just sprung up on the 9th of July this year. And we have, it is our mission to accompany them along their path to state building and to development. That, I think, is quite impressive, as was impressive the very fast deployment of the United Nations in Abyei, this area which is contested between both Sudans. After a bout of terrible violence in May, the mission was actually created and deployed, I think, remarkably quickly, although in very difficult circumstances, I mean, materially, but I was very impressed to see what they had already achieved in such a short time. So these are only examples, but I think they say a lot, again, about the quality of our engagement.